Vishnu Gurudevo Maheshwarah Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranata Klesha Nashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha, Shri Haraye Namaha. Sham Radhe 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 Sham. Satgurunath Maharaj ki jai. It is said that it is very auspicious to hear Bhagavan's Leelas and Bhagavan's stories. But it is even more auspicious and even more better for us when we hear Bhagavan's Leelas at a very holy place and at a very holy time. What better holy place than Meenakshi temple, and what better time than Navaratri? During Navaratri, we see so many bhaktas, so many devotees of Goddess Durga every day going to her temples for 9 continuous days and chanting her divine names and praising her. This is bhakti. For 9 days, bhakti is going on. But today, we will all see how a grantha, how a scripture, how a book can instill this kind of bhakti in all of our hearts. As we all know, Vedavyasa is a great sage who bestowed all the 4 Vedas, the Brahma Sutras and the 17 Puranas on all of us. But this great Mahan was confused one day. He was sitting on the banks of River Saraswati, and for some reason he was feeling distressed. Our Swamiji, Shri Muralidhara Swamiji, says that Mahans feel distressed whenever they are contemplating on different ways of how to uplift human beings that are caught in Maya. This is what Vyasa Bhagavan was thinking about. This is why he was upset. This is why he had no peace of mind. So our Vyasa Bhagavan had this great ability of looking into the future and looking into the past. So he looked into the future of Kali Yuga and wanted to see how the people in Kali Yuga were. And he saw a situation similar to this. So there was a landlord, and this landlord had a tenant, and this tenant was one of a kind tenant. He was very loyal. So one day this tenant found a very big treasure in the backyard of the house he was renting. And this tenant immediately went and told the landlord, "Dear sir, there's this very big treasure in the backyard of the house I'm renting, and it belongs to you because the house belongs to you." The landlord was very surprised. He was like, "No, what are you talking about? This treasure belongs to you. You keep it." But the men did not agree on this point. So they kept arguing, and finally they decided, okay, the treasure doesn't belong to anyone, just leave it there. So they left it there, and after some time, next thing you know, the landlord is walking furiously to the tenant's house. And the landlord tells the tenant, "Okay, I am here to pick up the treasure. You don't say anything, that treasure belongs to me." The tenant is confused. He said, But you told me that treasure belonged to me some time ago, and now I'm thinking, I think you were right at that time. But they started arguing again. So what happened between the first conversation and second conversation? Time had passed by. Dwapara Yuga had gone on to Kali Yuga. So this shows that the yugas have a very big effect on men's personalities. So Vyasa Bhagavan, when he saw this, he was very upset because he realized that all the granthas he had written had no effect on human beings in Kali Yuga. And Bhagavatam explains how people in Kali Yuga are. Prayena alpayusha sabhya kalabasman yuge janaha mandaha sumandamatayo mandabhagya hyupatritaha. The sloka says that people in Kali Yuga are very short-lived. Prayena alpayusha. If we compare our lifespan to Dasharatha's lifespan in Treta Yuga, which is the second yuga out of 4 yugas, he lived for about 60,000 years. We cannot even dream living for 60,000 years, can we? That's way too much. So compared to Dasharatha, yes, we are short-lived. But that's so long ago. What about a recent age? Okay, what about Krishna in Dwapara Yuga? Krishna lived for about 120 years. So compared to us, we are still short-lived. So people in Kali Yuga are definitely short-lived. The sloka also says that people in Kali Yuga are very slothful, lazy, and unfortunate. They lack fortune. Manda bhagya hyupatritaha, and they're very slow. At this stage of confusion, Narada comes along and tells Vyasa, Vyasa, you look very upset. What's wrong? And Vyasa Bhagavan says, O Narada, great sage, if you can sense I am troubled, then you also must know what is causing my troubles and what I should do to ease my pain. Narada says, Vyasa, you have written so many scriptures, and every one of them is beautiful. But in each scripture that you have written, you have prescribed a different path to reach Bhagavan. You have prescribed a path to reach Bhagavan which is very specific to its yuga. So what Narada is trying to say here is that if we take Satya Yuga, which is the first yuga, the people in that yuga are very pure and very sattvic. And the path to reach Bhagavan in that yuga was through dhyanam and was through meditation. People in that yuga had the ability to sit and meditate for a long period of time and eventually reach Bhagavan. But if we use that method in this age, we will soon find out that we don't have the time nor the ability to sit for that long and attain Bhagavan. So Narada continues on and tells Vyasa that the people in Kali Yuga have 2 easy paths to reach Bhagavan. They can either reach Bhagavan through chanting Bhagavan's names, divine names, which will instill bhakti in their hearts, or they can listen to Bhagavan's stories, and this will also instill bhakti in their hearts. So Vyasa write a grantha which will instill bhakti in the hearts of people in Kali Yuga. Bhagavatam Swayamarireva Srimad Bhagavatam Swayamarireva Srimad Bhagavatam Sakala Purana Madhye Swayam Prakashako Sakala Purana Madhye Swayam Prakashako Dinodarano Divya Charitram Dinodaranam Divya Charitram Srimad Bhagavatam Swayamarireva Srimad Bhagavatam Vyasacharyena Virachitam Vyasacharyena Virachitam Bhavukarasika Mandala Sevitam Bhavukarasika Mandala Sevitam Jnana Vairagya Bhakti Dayako Jnana Vairagya Bhakti Dayakum Prasthana Chatutam Brahma Vidya Poshakom पोषको श्रीमद्भागवतं स्वयं हरिरेव श्रीमद्भागवतम् संसारिणां करुणया सुखमुनिवर्षितं संसारिणां करुणया सुखमुनिवर्षितं सर्वमहात्मनचित्तकर्षकं सर्वमहात्मनचित्तकर्षकं ब्रह्महत्यदि सकलपापविनाशकं हत्यदि सकलपापविनाशकम् आत्मदेव चरित्रेण गति प्रसीदो आत्मदेव चरित्रेण गति प्रसीदो श्रीमद्भागवतं स्वयं हरिरे महिमा प्रकटनो प्रतिपदं नाम महिमा प्रकटनो प्रतिश्लोकं साधु जन महात्म्यं प्रतिश्लोकं साधु जन महात्म्यं प्रतिस्कन्दं भक्त वात्सल्य निरूपणो प्रतिस्कन्दं भक्त भागवत मुरलीधर भक्ति नित्य सेवितो भागवत मुरलीधर भक्ति नित्य सेवितो श्रीमद्भागवतं स्वयं हरिरेव श्रीमद्भागवतम्. So what is Bhagavatam? In this kirtana, Swamiji says, Bhagavatam Swayam Harireva. Bhagavatam is Bhagavan himself. We must all be thinking, how can our powerful God, how can our strong Bhagavan be compacted into one small book? Well, if Bhagavan can come down in the form of a fish in Matsya Avatara, and in the form of a boar in Varaha Avatara, and in the form of a turtle in Kurma Avatara, then don't you think Bhagavan can also come down in the form of Vak Avatara as a book? In Kali Yuga, Bhagavan has come down as Vak Avatar, as sound avatar, which is Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is Bhagavan is also proved in Bhagavatam itself. In Bhagavatam, in Krishna's Charitram, at the end of his Leelas and when he was ready to go to Vaikunta, it is said that a bright light came out of Krishna Bhagavan and went into Bhagavatam. So this shows that Bhagavatam and Bhagavan are no different. It is not only in Puranas is it shown that Bhagavatam and Bhagavan are the same, but it is also shown in many incidents of many lives of Mahants. One such incident occurred in Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's life. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a very beautiful Krishna idol which was named Radhakanta. So one day Ramakrishna was sitting in his puja room in front of his idol Radhakanta, and next to him was a Bhagavatam. So a bright light came out of Radhakanta and went into Ramakrishna, and that same Jyoti came out of Ramakrishna and went into Bhagavatam. So this shows that Bhagavatam, Bhagavan and Bhagavatas, which are devotees of Bhagavan, are no different and are verily the same. A saint from Rajasthan, Mirabai, has also sung this in one of her bhajans. She says that she does not want to be anywhere but near the sadhus or near the bhaktas of her Lord, and that she also wants to sing, only dance to the leelas of her Lord, and that she only wants to read Bhagavatam. Hari gun gavat nachungi main, Prabhu gun gavat nachungi. Hari gun gavat nachungi main, Prabhu gun gavat nachungi. Jnana dhyan ki gatati bandh kar, jnana dhyan ki gatati bandh kar, हरिजन संग में लागूंगी, हरिजन संग में लागूंगी, मैं प्रभु गुण गावत नाचूंगी. अपने मंदिर में बैठ बैठ कर, अपने मंदिर में बैठ बैठ सदा प्रेम रस जागूंगी, सदा प्रेम रस जागूंगी, मैं प्रभु गुण गावत नाचूंगी, मैं प्रभु गुण गावत नाचूंगी. So Bhagavatam has 12 cantos, and these 12 cantos add up to about 18,000 slokas. And the first 9 cantos of Bhagavatam are full of Bhagavata stories, devotees of Bhagavan stories. The first canto of Bhagavatam shows us the lives of Narada, Parikshit, Kunti Devi and Bhishmacharya. And the fourth canto, Bhagavatam, shows us the beautiful story of Dhruva, the little boy, who had done severe penance and attained Bhagavan at the end of it. And then in the fifth canto, we see Jadabharata's Charitram, how beautiful Jadabharata's Charitram is shown in Bhagavatam. And then in the sixth canto, we see Ajamila's Charitram and how Ajamila was not a very good person, but yet he attained Bhagavan at the end of his life. And then after Ajamila's Charitram is Vritrasura's Charitram. And Vritrasura was a very great Asura devotee who also attained Bhagavan's lotus feet at the end of his life. After Vritrasura's Charitram, in the seventh canto, Prahalada's Charitram is shown. And Prahalada was a staunch devotee of Sri Hari, and he was only 5 years maybe approximately, but yet he had strong trust in his Lord. After Prahalada's Charitram, Gajendra's Charitram is shown, and how this elephant king called on Bhagavan at his time of need, and how Bhagavan came and saved him. After Gajendra's Charitram, in the 9th canto, Ambarisha's Charitram is shown, and Ambarisha is this humble king who devoted his life to Krishna, his whole life to Bhagavan. And finally, in the 10th canto, our Krishna is hidden. Now one would think that Krishna Leela would begin starting from the first canto, but it is not so in Bhagavatam. It starts from the 10th canto. Why is that? Well, if a 5-year-old boy wants to become a doctor, will that boy go straight from kindergarten to medical school? No, he won't. Because in medical school, if he goes from kindergarten, he won't understand what the medical professors are trying to teach him. He won't understand what the cardiovascular arrest is or anything like that. He won't understand anything. So this boy has to go through elementary school, middle school, junior high, high school, and then only will he understand what the medical professors are trying to teach him. Similarly, Bhagavatam takes us through a purification process in the first 9 cantos. After we listen to the first 9 cantos, we are then qualified to listen to Bhagavan's Leelas. Is Bhagavan's Leelas only limited to the 10th canto? No. It's spread throughout the whole of Bhagavatam. For example, in Jadabharata's Charitram, in the 5th canto, Rahugana says, Samam smritir mragadehe pivira krishnarchana prabhavano jahati ato aham jana sangada sango vishankamano vivritarshtarami. What Rahugana is saying here is that because of Jadabharata's Charitram in his previous janma, because of Jadabharata's service to Krishna in his previous janma, he understood that he should leave all attachments and seek only Bhagavan in his new life that Bhagavan granted him. Another example is in the 7th canto in Prahalada's Charitram, where Narada says, Nyasta kridanako balo jadavat tanmanastaya Krishna graha grihitatma naveda jagadidisham. What Narada says here is that Prahalada was not a normal child. He did not like these playthings, or he didn't want to be always near his mother. No, he only remembered Krishna and he always wanted to be near his Lord. Another example is in Ambarisha's Charitram in the 9th canto, where Shukamuni, which is Vyasa Bhagavan's son, says, Save mana Krishna padara vindayor pachamsi vaikunta gunanu varnane karo hare mandira marjanadishu shrutim chakara achyuta satkatodhaye. What Shuka is saying here is that Ambarisha offered all of his actions to his Lord. If Ambarisha were to eat anything, it would only be the prasadam of Sri Krishna. And if he were to walk anywhere, it would only be towards his Lord's temple. And in this context, our Guru Maharaj sings a very beautiful song. Govinda Varai Varada Govinda Vara Premika Varada Govinda Vara Premika Varada Govinda Vara Premika Varada Ambarishanai Kat Turvasarai Adaki Ambarishanai Kat Turvasarai Adaki Bhagavata Gale Perumaya Unnatiya Bhagavata Gale Perumaya Unnatiya Bhagavata Gale Perumaya Unnatiya. The Krishna who saved Ambarisha and killed Durvasa's ego and also showed the greatness of Bhagavatas in the world. Govinda Varai Premika Varada Govinda Varai Premika Varada Nanmaye Seyyamal Narayana Endra Nanmaye Seyyamal Narayana Endra Matiratu Krishna who saved Ajamila, who did not do a single good deed in his life, just because Ajamila said Narayana in his last death, in his last moment. Govinda Varai Premika Varada Govinda Varai Premika Varada Harakanai Kundra Palakanai Kata Harakanai Kundra Palakanai Kata Namamai Bhavo Nilai Natinaye Namamai Bhavo Nilai Natinaye Namamai Bhavo Nilai Natinaye. The Krishna who killed Hiranyakashipu and saved his son Prahalada and also established the greatness of Bhagavan's names. Govinda Varai Premika Varada Govinda Varai Premika Varada Govinda Varai Premika Varada Govinda Varai Premika Varada. But why are Bhagavan's Leelas and Bhagavata stories prescribed to us in this age in Kali Yuga? In Bhagavatam, it is said that the sugar that is taken from a sugar cane is much more sweeter and much more digestible for us. Similarly, Bhagavatam, which is verily the essence of the four Vedas, is much more sweeter to our ears and much more understandable for us. But why is Bhagavatam more understandable for us? It is because Bhagavatam shows us the two easiest, simplest and sweetest paths to reach Bhagavan. And those two paths to reach Bhagavan are Shravanam and Kirtanam. Kirtanam just simply chanting his divine names, and Shravanam simply listening to his stories. Our Swamiji says that our ears are the only sensory organs which are open all the time, and they have no choice but to listen to everything. So if you don't want to touch something, you can pull our hands back, and if you don't want to see anything, we can close our eyes. But if you don't want to see anything, what do we do? If you don't want to hear anything, what do we do? Bhagavan has not given us the natural ability to not listen to anything. This is so that our ears don't miss a single chance to hear Bhagavan's names or Bhagavan's glories. So Shravanam is the simplest path and is the easiest path to reach Bhagavan because it lets us listen to his stories, and when we listen to his stories and when we hear Mahans say how beautiful Krishna was, and when we hear how Krishna gave his mother a very hard time and how Bhagavan ran away from his gopis in Rasa Leela and how he did the Govardhana Leela and how he was named Govinda, we gain such love towards Bhagavan that we don't want to ever be away from him. So this is all because of Shravanam. This is all because we heard his stories did we gain bhakti towards Bhagavan. Kade kele ಹರಿ ಕದೆಯ ನೀ ಕೇಳ ಕದೆ ಕೇಳ ಕದೆ ಕೇಳ ಸದಾ ಹರಿ ಕದೆಯ ನೀ ಕೇಳ பக்தி விரக்தியுடன் கதை சொல்பவரிடம் பக்தி விரக்தியுடன் கதை சொல்பவரிடம் ஸ்ரத்தா பக்தியுடன் கதை கேளு ஸ்ரத்தா பக்தியுடன் கதை கேளு கதை கேளு கதை கேளு சதா ஹரி கதை நீ கேளு தர்மாவதாரமான ராமன் கதையையும் நீலாவதாரமான கிருஷ்ணன் கதையையும் தர்மாவதாரமான ராமன் கதையையும் நீலாவதாரமான கிருஷ்ணன் கதை ஹரியின் அனந்த அவதார கதைகளையும் ஹரியின் அனந்த தார கதைகளையும் ஹரிதாசகல கதைகள நீ கேள ஹரிதாசகல கதைகள நீ கேள கதை கேள கதை கேள சதா ஹரி கதைய நீ கேள விஷ்ணுநாதன் போல கதை கேளு விஷ்ணுநாதன் போல கதை கேளு விஷ்ணு பிரதுவை போல கதை கேளு விஷ்ணு பிரதுவை போல கதை கேளு விஷ்ணுதாசன் ஹனுமன் போல் கதை கேளு விஷ்ணுதாசன் ஹனுமன் போல் கதை கேளு விஷ்ணு முரளிதரன் கதை கேளு விஷ்ணு முரளிதரன் கதை கேளு கதை கேளு கதை கேளு சதா ஹரி கதைய நீ கேளு. The first canto, Bhagavatam, speaks about Parikshit's story, and it shows us how Parikshit was a great king and how he was also the grandson of Arjuna. And it also shows us how Parikshit was cursed by the son of a Muni that he would die the next 7 days because of a snake bite. Now our Parikshit did not run away from death. He did not go into depression that he was going to die. He did not avoid death. He did not try to, avoid every snake he saw. No. Instead, he faced the death and he thought, okay, there must be something good I can do in the next 7 days. So being a king, he asked all his fatherly ministers in his court what he should do in his next 7 days, in his last 7 days of his life. None of the men had great ideas. So Parikshit decided to leave his kingdom. So he left his kingdom, he left his family, he left all his kingly pleasures and went and sat on the banks of river Ganga. So whenever a devotee is ready, the Guru will instantly come, will certainly come. So just like that, Parikshit was ready and his Guru, Shrukamuni, which is Vyasa Bhagwan's son, came instantly and sat with Parikshit. And this gave Parikshit an opportunity to ask any question Parikshit had about dharma or about humans and what we should do in our life to attain Bhagavan. And this question and answer session is what Bhagavatam is. So Parikshit heard Bhagavatam for 7 continuous days. But what happened to Parikshit at the end of 7 days? Bhagavatam says, मेनिरे भगवत रूपम शास्त्रम भागवतम करो पठनात् श्रवणात् सद्यो वैकुंठ फलदायकम. This says, Bhagavatam says that anyone who reads Bhagavatam or who listens to Bhagavatam will definitely attain Vaikunta. So at the end of the 7th day, Parikshit attained Vaikunta. परिदवित्त परीक्षितो केटदुम हरि कथये परिदवित्त परीक्षितो केटदुम हरि कथये हरिदिनो हरिदान हरिचरण तयणेदान परिदवित्त परीक्षितो केटदुम हरि कथये हरिदिनो हरिदान हरिचरण राजन तुति सैद परम पुरुनु अगने करि राजन तुति सैद परम पुरुनु अगने हरिमुख मायवंद भक्तवत्सलनु मवने हरिमुख मायवंद भक्तवत्सलनु मवने परिदवित्त परीक्षितो केटदुम हरि कथये हरिये नंबी केट्टवर पुराणत्तिलो इल्ले हरिये नंबी केट्टवर पुराणत्तिलो इल्ले परिपक्वमाकी हरि भक्तिये करो परिपक्वमाकी हरि भक्तिये करो सरिनिगे समानो मिल्लाद कदयवन तंत्रो सरिनिगे समानो मिल्लाद कदयवन तंत्रो परिगवित परीक्षितो केटदुम हरि कदये हरि दिनो हरिदान हरि चरणते भक्त प्रिय कृष्ण मां पाहि भागवत संगमम देहि 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 भागवत भगवान की जय. So we've learned that the first message of Bhagavatam is that just listening to Bhagwan's Leelas and listening to Bhagwan's stories is enough for us to attain his lotus feet. Now the second message of Bhagavatam is also the secret of Bhagavatam, and this secret is hidden in the middle, in the heart of Bhagavatam, and it is also hidden in the story of Ajamila. So Ajamila, as I said before, was not so great. He had many bad vices, and he gambled, he drank, and he did many other bad things. But in his last moment, in his deathbed, Ajamila called out Narayana, not the Narayana in the heavens, but Narayana, his son's name. Now our Bhagavan in the heaven, in Vaikunta, did not ignore his name, did not ignore the call. He did not think that Ajamila was calling his son. Instead, he was so happy that Ajamila said Bhagavan's name, that he granted Ajamila liberation. He liberated Ajamila right that moment, and he gave Ajamila Vaikunta. So this shows that anyone, or if one person has many bad habits, that person, if they accidentally say Bhagwan's name, or if they unintentionally say Bhagwan's name, then they will definitely be helped by Bhagwan in the time of need, in a crisis. They will definitely be liberated by Bhagavan. So this is the secret of Bhagavatam. Now, if we want to know the summary of a book, all we have to do is look at the first page and read it, and then look at the last page and then read it, and then look at the middle, and then we just read a couple of pages there. And then you get an overall gist of what the book is about. Now, if you want to learn the summary of Bhagavatam, all you do is you take the first word in the first sloka of Bhagavatam, which is Janmadasya, and starts with Ja, and then you take the last slokam in Bhagavatam, and you take the sloka is Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukashamanaha Tam Namami Harim Param. So the words both create Jam. So Swamiji says that Bhagavatam Jammanirukku. Okay? So as we all learn from today, Bhagavatam says that just chanting Bhagwan's names will let us reach Bhagwan's lotus feet. Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Hare Rama Krishna Govinda Narayana, Hare Rama Krishna Govinda Narayana, Nanda Nandana Hare 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 Narayana, Navanita Chola Hare Narayana, Navanita Chola Hare Narayana, Venu Vinola Hare Narayana, Venu Vinola Hare Narayana, Venu
Krishna Hare Hare கனியையும் பலி கொள்ளும் துளி நியமமும் இல்லாத கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம 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 ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண 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 ஹரே ஹரே ஈரட்ட வர்ணத்தை நீக்கியே முக்தி நல்கிடும் ஈரட்டு சொற்கள் கொண்ட கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம 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 ஹரே ஹரே விண்ணுலக ஆசைகளும் கனபொழுது நல்கிடும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே பொருளோ செலவில்லை எனினும் மருளோ குவிந்திடும் கருவில் வராது காக்கும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே கொண்டு காமரம் வரையிலும் அண்டி பிழைத்திடும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே மானிகை தாளும் ரத்தினமே அருமையில் அருமையான கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே உலகமறிய செய்வே என சபதம் செய்தாரே அவ சபதம் நிறைவேற கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே யோகமும் யாகமும் தீர்த்தமும் தெய்வமும் குடிகொண்ட நாமத்தை கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே சிதாகாசம் விழுந்திடும் நாமமாம் யோக சித்தி தங்கிடும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே பாடிடும் தலத்தையும் பாவனமாக்கிடும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே ஹரே விளங்கினோம் போன்று ஒன்றியே பரகதி நல்கிடும் கீர்த்தனம் பாடிரே ஹரே ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே 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 ராம ராம ஹரே 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 கிருஷ்ண கிருஷ்ண ஹரே 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 ராம 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 ஹரே ஹரே
Muktha Nair, Karun Salwadi and Maya Iyer. They're all part of the Gopakutiram youth group of Houston Namadwar and Global Organization for Divinity. They've put together an excellent HariKatha on the Mahathmyam, the greatness and the importance of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's give them another big round of applause. They're all in their early teenagers, so you can see the amount of shraddha and effort they would have put in this America to come up with this wonderful, great secret that's there in our Shastras and explain it to us in such a beautiful manner that is apt for us to listen. So thank you so much, Muktha and Karun and Maya, for putting this wonderful HariKatha together. To make a quick announcement that she just set the small spark for Bhagavatam, but later on this year, during the Christmas holiday time frame, Sri Ramanujam ji of our satsang, who's traveling from India, he's currently on a tour all over the United States, and he'll be talking here on 7 days in the Meenakshi temple, Kalyana Mandapam, for a Bhagavata Saptaham that's going to happen around the end of December 21st to 27th to be precise. So we'll be sure to send more information about that, and Meenakshi temple and the Global Organization for Divinity jointly is sponsoring that event. We wish everybody would come and take this small step of Bhagavatam into a 7-day Maha Yajna that's going to happen. Thank you so much.